Hello everyone. Welcome to our channel. In this episode, we will be talking about the 10 Commandments. King James Bible Version. There is a solid reason why the 10 Commandments are one of the most well-known sections in the Bible. Every human conduct in their interactions with God and other people is governed by the 10 Commandments. The first 4 commandments emphasize the significance of worshiping and respecting God and are centered on the relationship with Him. The final 6 commandments emphasize the value of treating individuals with dignity and respect by focusing on how we relate to one another. We'll be looking closely at each of the 10 commandments in this video. We'll examine its relevance and meaning, in addition to the ways in which they still have an impact on people today. So, let's get started. Commandment 1. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. It's possible that many individuals are familiar with the first commandment. It basically implies that we should only worship God and not let anything else take His place in our adoration. This commandment alludes to the necessity of dedication and allegiance, as well as the perils of idolatry. No other gods should exist before God might appear to be a simple concept to many. Nonetheless, we should follow this rule in our daily life. We could be tempted to put our faith in things such as wealth, power, or other tangible things instead of God. Other spiritual practices or belief systems which look alluring or promising may also lure us to them. Hello! If you're enjoying this video, I have a special request for you. Please take a moment to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, please share. Thank you for your support. Commandment 2. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I the Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and shewing mercy unto thousands of them that love me, and keep my commandments. The fabrication of need to of God or any other supernatural entity is prohibited according to the 2nd commandment, which builds on the first. This commandment warns against making idols and serves as a reminder, since God cannot be retained in or symbolized by anything material. Building on the first, the 2nd commandment forbids the construction of any physical images of God or of any other spiritual being. This commandment warns against making idols and serves as a reminder that there is no physical item that can contain or symbolize God. The prohibition against creating graven images might have seemed unrelated to current life. This commandment, though, has significant ramifications on our relationship with the Creator. We may keep our attention on the genuine nature of God and all other creatures and resist the need to get preoccupied with trivial or materialistic issues by resisting the desire to make physical representations of these beings. Commandment 3. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. 3rd commandment. It cautions us against disrespecting or using the name of God casually and exhorts us to approach God with reverence and awe, as it can be simple to develop a habit of speaking God's name carelessly or flippantly. Many individuals need to adhere to this commandment. Yet if we take the time to consider how sacred God's name is, we might develop a stronger feeling of connection and reverence for God. Commandment 4. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor, and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. The commandment commands individuals to observe and revere the Sabbath day. This suggests that individuals should stop from working on the seventh day of the week, which is Saturday, and instead use the time to rest and engage in acts of worship. This is founded on the idea that since God rested on the seventh day after the creation of the world, it is appropriate to keep the Sabbath day as a day of meditation and rest. The commandment also emphasizes that not only the individual themselves, but also their family, helper, and even their animals, shall stop from working on the Sabbath. This emphasizes the significance of the Sabbath as a day set apart for rest and worship of God. Commandment 5. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. The fifth commandment stresses the need of honoring and showing respect to our parents or caregiver. It serves as a reminder how our parents or caregiver have been significant influences in our lives, and that we ought to be grateful and appreciative of them. The concept of honoring one's parents or caregiver may appear straightforward to many individuals. Yet, this commandment should be upheld, particularly when there may be disputes or confrontations among parents and children. Commandment 6. Thou shalt not kill. The sixth commandment stresses the worth of human life as well as the need for nonviolence. It issues a strong warning against taking human life and exhorts us to show compassion and respect for all living things. The concept of not murdering should come naturally to every individual. The ramifications of this commandment, however, are significant for our interpersonal interactions and feeling of accountability. We can develop a more optimistic and caring culture for everyone by abstaining from violence and trying to make the world more equitable and peaceful. Commandment 7. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Adultery is when a husband or wife engages in sexual behavior with a person who is not their spouse, violating the marital commitment. This commandment is meant to prevent actions that can cause the family unit to disintegrate and to encourage loyalty and faithfulness within marriage. The prohibition against adultery can be read broadly to include any instance of sexual immorality or infidelity, including fornication, prostitution, and other sexual sins. According to what the Bible says, having sex within the framework of marriage is God's gift to us, and going against this norm is against His will. Commandment 8. Thou shalt not steal. The prohibition against stealing is meant to encourage truthfulness, morality, and regard for other people's property. It acknowledges the value of private property as well as people's inherent right to own and manage their own things. This commandment forbids stealing, which promotes a sense of stability and security in society since people know their belongings are protected against theft and vandalism. The rule against stealing can also be applied to various forms of deceit, fraud, and dishonesty in one's interactions with other people. This involves lying to further personal interests, deceiving others for financial gain, and taking unfair advantage of others. Commandment 9. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. To encourage sincerity, honesty, and regard for other people's reputations and well-being. The commandment against giving false testimony was created. It acknowledges the value of fairness and justice in society as well as the necessity of credible testimony in court. This commandment works to save innocent persons from unfair charges and wrongful incarceration by forbidding false testimony. The ban against lying, dishonesty, or trickery in one's speech or deeds might be read into the commandment to not give false testimony in a larger meaning as well. This involves disseminating false information, making unjustified charges, and suppressing details that can be crucial to other people's safety. Commandment 10. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. To encourage happiness, thankfulness, and respect for other people's property and belongings. The commandment against coveting was created. It acknowledges the peril of enmity and jealousy, as well as the damage that can result from placing an excessive amount of emphasis on worldly items. This commandment urges individuals to concentrate on what they have rather than what they lack by forbidding coveting. This approach serves to cultivate humility and charity. The commandment provides several instances of objects that one should not desire, including one's neighbor's home, wife, household staff, and cattle. These illustrations illustrate a variety of material items that people can be tempted to covet and serve as a reminder that everything ultimately belongs to God and not to us. The rule against coveting can also be applied to all forms of materialism, greed, and selfishness in one's ideas and deeds. This involves chasing riches, prestige, or power at the expense of others and putting one's own interests before of those of others. The Ten Commandments still hold great significance in today's world, serving as a moral compass for individuals and institutions. They continue to inspire people to strive towards a better, more just world, and remain an important reminder of our responsibility towards ourselves, each other, and God. The Ten Commandments can be broadly categorized into two types of commandments: those that concern the relationship between humans and God, and those that concern the relationship between humans and each other. The commandments that relate to our relationship with God emphasize the importance of acknowledging God's supremacy, respecting God's name and Sabbath, and avoiding idolatry. The commandments that relate to our relationships with other humans stress the importance of respecting parents, avoiding murder, adultery, stealing, bearing false witness, and coveting. So, there you have it. The 10 Commandments. King James Bible Version. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one.